Robert Bird stepped in quite quickly to pull in a knockdown. Then in the 11th, Bautista turning the push, coming back competitively. He knocked Medina down with that counter left hand.
Isa si Boomboom Bautista sa top prospect ng Pilipinas noon. Dahil sa edad na 20 anyos, ay naging #1 contender na agad ito sa pandaigdigang titulo ng WBO Super Bantamweight Division. May kartada noon na 22 wins, 17 knockouts at walang bahid ng talo. At bago humarap noon sa world title fight, ay sumabak muna ito sa isang world title eliminator. Ito ay kontra sa #2 contender na si Sergio Medina. At hindi biro ang fighter ng Argentinang ito sapagkat tulad ni Bautista, isa rin itong undefeated at bahagyang eksperyensyado kumpara kay Boomboom. Dahil ito ay may kartadang 28 wins with 60 knockouts, 25 anyos, matanda lang ng 5 taon sa pride ng tagbilaran, bohol. At isang malaking test para sa 20 anyos na bagito noon na si Boomboom Bautista. At ang labang ito ay bahagi na ng history sa boxing sapagkat ito lang naman ang pang-apat na pinakakumitang pay-per-view sa kasaysayan ng boxing dahil kumita ng $136 million o kulang-kulang 8 billion pesos sa kasalukuyang pera ngayon. Paano ba naman? Sila kasi ang undercard ng inaabangan ng mundo noon na Mayweather versus Dela Hoya. Kaya ating balikan ang pagwagayway ng bandera ng Pilipinas sa bansang Amerika.
Stop whatever you're doing. Give me a clean break. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Let's do it. Surely Medina knows that he's... Wide punches from Medina. But we're seeing more and more of it recently, Emmanuel.
Yeah, sometimes they equal the knockouts of the heavyweights. In fact, Pisco, even the other heavyweights, and recently Tony and those guys.
Boxers.
Boxers. Very seldom the guys knocking guys out.
Last night, 215-pound Eddie Chambers beat Dominic Gwynn here in Las Vegas. And there's an early attack by Medina, trying to seize the initiative against, but to try to pick out opportunities to counter as Medina was firing with both hands.
With an undefeated record, and out to show that he has earned it.
Robert Bird
fighting with a lot of spirit, and he's fighting as if he is the favorite. And
he's from the Filipino island of Cebu. That's different from Pacquiao, who is from Mindanao. When we go to Bautista's corner, they'll be speaking Tagalog, and our interpreter there will be Ernie Kalua. They'll speak Spanish in Medina's corner, and the terrific Jerry Olaya will be interpreting there. Now Bautista getting a range that he likes better and landing an uppercut in that flurry, and Medina, with some of his own long arm punches, backs Bautista off. Good first round, sets up some real mayhem to come in the next few rounds. Yeah, you heard the trainer emphasizing the uppercut, because if Medina splits the gloves, there'll be an uppercut opportunity there. There's a terrific counter left hook by Bautista that seemed momentarily to rock Medina there.
Yeah, but Medina was running in off balance out of position.
And now hard body shot by Bautista. He tries to work that uppercut, takes a right hand across the top from Medina. Comes back with 3 or 4 shots.
Bautista's landing there really more on the belt line. But he looks very strong inside when he punches.
Hard right hand across the top from Medina, then a left hook side.
But I think that...
And now Bautista with a straight right hand up the middle. And once again, momentarily rocks Medina, who fights back. This is bombs away. Hard right. This is the main event. Won't have to worry about entertainment value at all.
Before he's going to get caught with those short punches. But Bautista is punching with much more authority and action.
He's usually going to win the power punches battle.
Right.
There's a trickle of blood out of the nose of...
Got a bell coming. Bell.
They're not charting a distance with which it's pretty rare for a fighter as young as Bautista to have already had 12-round experience.
So it doesn't make that much difference.
Right, so when American fighters might be fighting glancing blow only, Medina kind of nods at him as if to say, all right, here we go.
And it's a very good, strong left jab to be pushes right between the gloves.
When he lands his body shots, you hear the thud.
Boom, to unload on him, looking for openings.
Place to be with a short, compact puncher like
that. Why would a fighter think that?
Because he still thinks he's the bigger puncher. Because in 28 previous he beats people in Argentina, right, Emmanuel?
Yeah, he's a good fighter. I'm very impressed with him. I think Boss took his power punches off.
Sergio Medina, our interpreter, incidentally, tells us that the trainer and the handlers in Medina's corner are telling him to do this, telling him to lure Bautista into the corner.
Zone corner, motions right, Boomboom, Bautista to come in, and then based on clean, effective punching.
And when Medina comes forward, a lot of times,
shots from the outside, and that's one of the critical differences in maximize the impact of your punches by throwing them where they matter. Here it is on display once again. Medina gets a long-armed counterpunch in and another one, but Boomboom Bautista forcing him back with those solider, straighter shots.
and Medina catches some of those punches. You can see the power so much that even Medina's gloves are cracking into his own face from the impact of that.
And
The toughest fight either of them has had. We have to say they deal with adversity with fighters that
always in composure.
That's the left hook right there again. Every gets to attack the one he starts moving forward. He leaves them
Hooks or right crosses. It wouldn't be the first time Bautista's been down. We don't know whether Medina's ever been down.
That's all. That's all.
and a riot broke out in the ring in the middle of the fight because of some fouls, and he went to a neutral corner.
Exactly right. If at the height of the melee there were 30 people in the ring.
Stop it.
With short, straight power punches as Medina, it might be a good idea to try to stand in the middle of the ring a little bit.
Emmanuel, what can you see in Argentina? We don't know any of the fighters he's fought holding his own against
More than that,
Bautista.
I am very impressed with him. I think Bautista is one of the best prospects in the league. He's fighting a tremendous fight.
Well, it's just part and parcel of what we're seeing more and more all over the world. Boxing is rapidly globalizing. You cannot discount anyone from any country just because you may not have seen them or the people that they're with. They are starting to learn earlier and better everywhere.
And I'd have to say that a lot of them have better fundamentals than we have here in America. And a lot of the kids, like this particular, are very tough mentally.
Huge left hand by Bautista there, and Medina perhaps more hurt than at any time in the fight. Another left hook by Bautista, bombing away over the top with the right hand. And a very competitive Sergio Medina backs him off one more. Good left hook by Medina, backs Bautista off. And Bautista momentarily wobbling.
I think seeing that blood has suddenly energized that butt.
Oh, but they were got a fighter's instinct in a very big way.
Medina's a very tough guy. I would like to see him fight again, regardless of whether he wins or loses tonight. Very good fighter.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Emmanuel. I mean, he looks like he's a little bit out-strengthed here, even if he's a younger fighter. But he's shown us something.
Bautista has fought a higher caliber of opposition coming in.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And don't forget, Bautista's fought in Las Vegas, and then
Incidentally, 3 weeks in San Juan, Puerto Rico with Scene, where Pacquiao hangs out and where Freddie Roach does his business.
and he's very international. He's been traveling, very comfortable fighting anywhere, and training anywhere.
And incidentally, Bautista's working on learning English because he full well read
To a young fighter.
Yes! Over there! Over there!
perfect counter left hook.
3,
And Medina
4,
was lunging right
5,
into it.
6, 7, 8. You okay?
Smiling because he thinks he was more thrown than hit. But the bottom line is Bautista's timing couldn't have been better.
I was about to ask Emmanuel, what do you think it means to young fighters to be on a major event like this?
Oh, I mean, it means everything. You know, the biggest fight in the history of the world, which this will end up being with the viewership as well as money. And to be able to be on this and in Las Vegas is a lot.
Well, a lot of fans who may be only vaguely aware of Manny Pacquiao are now getting a greater sense than ever of the rising tide, which is Filipino professional boxing.
Mainly because of Manny Pacquiao's great success.
And acceptance by American boxing fans.
And Latino. That was
Ray Bautista. Jim, I want to talk about headbutts for a minute. if a referee sees blood, the only one that can call whether it's a headbutt or a punch is the referee. He can't ask the commissioner, he can't ask the judges, he can't ask anybody. In this case, Robert Byrd, the referee, said that even Ray Bautista.
Down at any time the way that he throws his punches, whereas Bautista is much better balanced. Almost bad balance again.
Yeah, Bautista has that truly solid base.
Yes.
In fact, honest, even Pacquiao could learn something from the way Bautista sets his feet.
Yes, much better balance than Pacquiao.
The number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world by most estimates. He was anticipating there might be blood because of the pain on his forehead. Maybe there's a little trickle of blood now, just above the left eye. Yes, indeed. Small pinhole cut that's starting to open.
He ran into a right hand and was really stunned.
Batista's in trouble here. Batista's in big trouble. And Bird's going to say that it was a knockdown because the ropes were holding him up.
Yeah, it was a knockdown officially. If it wasn't for the ropes, he would have went down.
And that may have saved
Batista. Exactly.
Yeah.
Gave him a moment to clear his head.
Standing knife.
He was in big trouble there.
But Medina's going to go right after him again. If Medina pushes when he goes forward, he's pushing all of his punches at the same time.
Medina was down. He was not dazed, but Bautista looked like he was hurt by that punch.
Now a right hand to the body and a left hook upstairs momentarily stops the damage for Bautista.
But Medina's still hurt.
There's another big left hook from Medina that lands, and Bautista is still wobbly on his feet.
This is a Rocky Boom fight.
Medina a little slow going for the kill right here. He may not realize how bad it all changed so rapidly.
And see Medina land a short right hand lead that Bautista never even saw. And he's hurting while he's wobbling and trying to get himself together. Medina starts coming to him with straight punches. And if it wasn't for him, which I was glad that he did hold on to the rope and got a standing 8 count, I think the fight would have been over with.
4 shots in the 7th round. Medina landed 19 out of 56, throwing a lot after he got Bautista in trouble. Bautista was only 13 of 25 in power shots in the round, but he's still landing more than half of them, even though that was his most dangerous round of the fight. Bautista lost a point because of low blows. So the ruling quotient goes in favor of Medina so far.
You know, power, but this fight has already put that argument to rest. People come for a night at the fights. You want to see the main event live up to what it's supposed to be, but you also want to see something else. And this is a real fist fight.
And this has turned dramatically in the last round and a half in favor of Medina.
Medina's coming in and using his fierce.
And incidentally, Batista's never had a knockout past the 6th round. Medina has had late, so his confidence is rising for good reason at this moment.
Good uppercuts,
but Bautista still seems to be hurt. He still seems he hasn't been really recuperated seemingly.
He's in danger of going if Medina can catch him with another big counter shot. Heard Robert Byrd talking to the officials table on the other side about the source of the cut outside Batista's right eye.
Unsteady now. When Medina, the same thing, that was critical. Straight punches and just run straight forward.
And Bautista being bothered by the blood around his eye, rubbing it with the glove moments ago. Ray Bautista trying to keep his composure and keep his perfect record against a fighter who has never Las Vegas for his first trip out of country. They've combined for 50 consecutive wins. Somebody's always going to go in what has become a slugfest supreme.
Wobbly in his legs, he's still.
Medina with a 45-26 edge in power shots in the last 2 rounds. Seemed to be beginning to get his legs back by the end of the round. Come on, Boom Bautista turns 21.
Tough kid too.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing something of him and how he's going to deal.
Nerves on the part of Sergio Manuel Medina yesterday turns out to have been real confidence.
No,
all that swagger was born of real self-belief.
No, he's a tough one.
Well, where we have been fooled with the knockout record is meaningless. This kid didn't come here as a knockout artist. He came here as a boxer fighter, and he's showing he's competitive.
He was from the Pampas, north of Buenos. do I have it the other way around? Do I have it the wrong way, Larry?
No, I believe that
I think I'm right.
You're right in the direction. I don't know about the mileage.
Time, that's all. Whoa. One even, 85-83, Ray Bautista. Jim, I gotta tell you, he needed that 9th round badly because that fight was getting round 7. He loses a point when he got knocked down. You know, that became a 10-8 round. In round 8, he got beat up. He lost that round 10-9. So Medina was making it very close.
3 and I'm sorry, 5-2 and 2 rounds even. It was 1 round even because I didn't know who won the round.
Experience for 2 young fighters trying to make an impression scene. Good counter. Bautista as once again Medina got out of
where the winner will move into a position for a title shot
for the WBO championship.
Okay.
WBO junior featherweight champion.
Isn't that a title that was once held by Prince Nassim Hamed?
Yes, but and they're fighting like they're fighting for a slot to fight for a championship.
They know.
It's a very tough fight.
There's no give up in either guy.
Right
and now this is the pattern of the early part of the fight where Medina backs it.
Wills.
This is the way Medina looked in the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds. Control of the fight.
Whoa.
That was a great body shot. Medina felt that body shot, and Bautista. Good straight counter left hand by Medina as Bautista was starting to walk in. Bautista trying to land one big right hand shot, which will discourage Medina once and for all.
Bautista.
Prior to Medina's re-entry.
I gathered that too. And in addition to that, I think fatigue is setting in a little bit more now as the fight is going on.
Well, this is where the body attack over the course of a fight will show up.
It was in the 10th. It was a big round for Bautista. 29 out of 66. Medina was 17 out of 82. Medina's cornermen trying to encourage him to lift his spirits. Stay in there. Try to keep the shots a little bit straighter and tighter so that he doesn't get countered so much by Bautista.
Whatever happens in this fight.
Well, South America will be looking for new boxing heroes in the wake of last weekend's democracy. But of course, rapidly on the rise is Edison Miranda of Colombia, and you'll be seeing him on the 19th of May. Perfect right-hand shot.
3, 4.
That could be the decisive moment in the fight.
7.
Medina's been getting tired in the last 2 rounds, you can see it. Even when he came out this round throwing punches, they were not as crisp as they were in the beginning.
This is another knockdown that was as much about balance as it was about the power of the shot. Bautista has landed harder punches than that one, but when they're properly timed against a guy who's leaning in and who's a little bit iffy on his feet, as Medina can sometimes be, you get that effect. Obviously, Medina's worried right now, ways to find him as he tries to regain his head and his legs. As he decides to plant his feet and see. Another good counter left hook inside by Bautista. And a big right hand by Bautista. Once again, momentarily wobbles Medina. A huge... Find out in 3 minutes if they go the distance in the 12th. Extremely competitive, hard-punching junior featherweights.
Yeah, they're scoring more knockdowns.
First step towards satisfaction for perhaps a record pay-per-view buying audience. All-time record for most buys for a non-heavy becomes, does the meter go past 1.99 million? The heavy, what they did. Maybe not here in the United States. Medina not doing enough here in the 12th round to turn anybody's impression. The leader in the clubhouse coming in. Competitiveness throughout the bout, but coming down the stretch, Medina, as I mentioned before, both fighters have gone 12 rounds prior to this in their careers. This record for the Filipino fighter. So once again, somebody loses most likely for the first time. Unless it's a draw, and at this point, Bautista. the second time Medina was extremely bothered by a clash of heads.
The two guys, the way they fight, their heads just collide every time they go through an exchange.
They're both lunge forward punches. One last counter shot from Bautista after a flurry by Medina.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards of the judges. C.J. Ross scores at 115-109. Dave Moretti, 116-108. Paul Smith, 115-109. All to the winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated, Ray Boomboom Bautista.
So all four judges, the three official ones, and Harold Letter.